and gentlemen, joining us from South Africa, here is the Boxing Lockdown. It's showtime.
Welcome to another episode of the Boxing Lockdown, powered by SA Boxing Talk. Naturally, the two gentlemen are in the Zoom house, Hayden and Cyril. We are now in the UK again with a special friend of mine, the Nelly man of the middleweight division. I hate to say Nelly because he should have been a world champion, and a strong connection to South Africa, the one and only Martin Murray. Welcome to the Boxing Lockdown.
Hi, mate. You all right? Thanks for having me on. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while, Martin. So I want to get right back. I want to get right into it. I want to cast your mind back after the Felix Sturm fight. You're in the ring. You think you're the new world champion, big upset. You weren't supposed to win. And the scores are read out. Stan Christodoulou from South Africa votes for you.
Yeah.
Then it's a draw. And then the other judge goes against you, 116, 112. The fight's a draw. What was going through your mind at that moment in time when this, in theory, should have been your crowning moment to be middleweight champion of the world in Germany?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of emotions running through me at that moment. We knew it was expected because it's Germany. We all know what it's like over there. Matthew Macklin was on the wrong end of a decision, the fight before me against Sturm. So we kind of expected it. But we thought we'd done it. We thought we'd done it. We thought we got the nod. We thought we'd done enough. So obviously we was gutted, Cole, but you know, I try and take the positive out of every situation. And I flew from there the day after and went and got married to Jem in the Caribbean. She didn't turn up for that fight. So on one hand I was gutted that I didn't win, obviously, but on the other hand I was happy that I wasn't getting married in a defeated fighter, like, you know what I mean? So I was obviously gutted, Cole, but I'd done what I intended to do, which was put my name up there as a world-class fighter. And like I said, we all know what it was like. We all know what it's like in Germany. So I was gutted, but listen, there's nothing you can do. It's just one of them where you got beat. There's no point crying over it. Just kind of get your head down and just get on with things, mate. You know what I mean? And that's what I did. I pushed for the rematch. He offered it me, but terrible money. That was only after. It wasn't the immediate rematch. This was about just before I signed with Rodney Burnham and Golden Gloves and come over your neck at Woods. But yeah, he won't take the rematch, mate, and I can understand why, because yeah, I really do feel I'd have blitzed him if I'd have had my chance again.
Martin, there was another fight, another world title fight that you had in Argentina against the guy who was the lineal champion at the time, Sergio Martinez. Many people felt that it was another one that many people felt that you had won, myself included, and you didn't get the decision. What goes through your mind? Like you're getting these fights, you get in these world title fights, and you think you won, but you're not getting a decision. What's going through your mind?
You know what? It's hard. It's, you know, it takes you a while to pick yourself up after each fight, each loss, and especially one that you know you should have won because it hurts you. Do you know what I mean? It makes you lose faith and a lot of love for the game, which I have done through things like that. But Argentina was an amazing experience. I think everybody knows I won that fight. But let me tell you, if I'd have got the decision, I won't be here telling this story to you because they'd have definitely lynched me on the way out. But yeah, again, it was that was tough to take. It was really hard, that. But you know, what can you do? I fight for my family. I fight to earn a living, and you know, you just got to keep going on, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? You can't let I think you can't let things like that get to you in the boxing world, and in this game of boxing, it's a tough old sport. A lot of politics involved in it, and I knew there was politics going into that fight. And yeah, I'd have had to knock him out, get a draw. It's the same we say in England, but I didn't win. But again, what can you do? I proved that, you know, I beat the lineal champ at middleweight, who was ranked number 2 pound for pound in the world at that time, and I thought I beat him quite easy. So, I mean, it was a tough fight, don't get me wrong, but I thought I won it by about 4 rounds. You know, there was a knockdown. I knocked him down twice, but one of them, it was as clear as day that I knocked him down. I believe that was, man in his fight was the first time the WBC used instant replay fighting, instant replay boxing, where they could go back and look at through the fight, which they did. They looked back, they said that I never knocked him down, which was clear as day that I did. And I don't believe that instant replay has been used since for a fight. So it just makes me believe that even if I'd have won and I'd knocked him out, they'd have still found a reason of me cheating or of not giving me that decision, because obviously the fight after me was Martinez and Cotto, which was obviously a big mega money fight, and politics definitely played the part in me not getting that decision against Martinez, but it is what it is.
Hi, Martin. So I wanted to just cast your mind back to, you know, obviously this is South African Connection, and I remember going through my phone and going on social media and seeing that Golden Gloves Promotions had signed you at a certain stage of your career. And I was just totally shocked. I'm like, Martin Murray signing for a South African promoter? Out of this world. Like, I was absolutely shocked. I want to know from you, what made you sign for a South African promoter at the time?
Well, initially I was with Atom Promotions, and my contract, it was going a bit sour towards the end, and I basically held a press conference. I was due for fighting against some Aussie kid in Monte Carlo on the first show, what Rodney Burnham did over there. And I held a press conference for it in my hometown of St Helens for this world title, this WBA regular world title I was fighting for. I forget his name now, this Aussie lad. But anyway, we held a press conference for it, and then I found out a couple of weeks before the fight that the WBA hadn't even sanctioned it. So it wasn't for a world title. I broke a bone in my hand in the build-up to the fight. And with it not being for a world title, I thought it wasn't worth jeopardising my career with it. So I obviously pulled out of that fight. You'll understand what I'm getting to here now with this. So basically, Rodney Burnham, he was given wrong information of me pulling out of this fight. So then I contacted Rodney, me, my good mate, my agent at the time, Andrew Mikhail, about coming over to the show in Monte Carlo, watching it. And Rodney sent us this email saying that we're not welcome because what we did was dishonest. It wasn't, but he was told that I was dishonest in what I did. So anyway, that was that. We ended up getting tickets going over to the show. Went over, shook Rodney's hand on, you know, and congratulated him after the show, which was a good show. Golovkin fought there. I think he fought that Japanese kid. I forget what it was. Who it was now.
Ishida.
But then I shook Rodney's hand and said, yeah, nice to meet you, great show. And that was that. And then a few weeks later, he messaged and saying, yeah, I'd be interested in signing Martin. Where's he up to now with this? And my contract with the Atoms had just run out. And it was just like, yeah, I'd like to sign you. And, you know, we did. He gave me a good deal. It was the first time where I'd signed with a promoter where they kind of give me a plan of when I was fighting, you know, when and where I was fighting. So it gave me proper chance to have training camps for them dates. And I liked everything that Rodney was saying. He was straight with me and I was straight with him. And, you know, I really respected and appreciated that with him. And, you know, I've still got a good relationship now with Rodney. I class him as a good friend. And, you know, after being in the game so long, you meet certain people and you can understand who the real, genuine, nice people are. Rodney's one of them. So that's how we ended up going over to, you know, we're signing with Golden Gloves. And after my last fight with Golden Gloves was with Golovkin in February 2015. And me and Rodney were speaking, and I obviously wanted to continue fighting for Golden Gloves because Rodney had been very good to me. But we couldn't make the we couldn't make the connection. You know, we couldn't keep it going over in the UK. So we parted company on friendly terms, and like I said, we still speak now.
Martin, I want to go back to your youth, and it's not something you're ashamed of. You're quite open about it. I know you can chuckle and smile and laugh. But you were a wild child, and I mean, by your own admission, you'd accept you're a wild child. I mean, you couldn't get to America because of your criminal record. You were arrested in Cyprus at the age of 18 for 6 weeks. You spent a few times in UK jails doing bad things, but then you met Gemma, and that all changed. I want to talk about the turning point besides Gemma realizing that, you know what, I'm either going to land up dead like some of my friends have. I need to turn it around.
Yeah, well, basically, Cole. I mean, I've never been a bad lad. You know, I trained all the way as a kid. I started boxing at 10, trained till I got 18. Never touched any drink or drugs or anything like that. And then I got to 18, and I just completely went down the wrong path. I got into the party scene. I got into drinking. I got into taking drugs. With that came, you know, there was a lot of fighting involved, which I ended up going to prison for. And then I was kind of like chasing my tail with it all. Then I get back into boxing when I got out of jail. I won the 2004 ABAs while I was on the run. God knows how I did it. I don't know, but I did. I ended up fighting for England again.
Because, sorry to interrupt, there were situations where you would go to tournaments, particularly for the ABA finals, and you were scared that the police would be there to arrest you. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. It was, and I was living at my mum's, and then the police were looking for me. And then I went and lived in a flat. I went and lived in my sister's house. I went and lived with my grandmother. I was just ducking and diving, mate, because I knew I needed to win these ABAs, which I did. And then things just got on top for me. And then obviously I ended up going back in jail. But it was the end of, I was in jail the majority from the start of 2005 to the end of 2005, and then I come out and I met Gemma on a night out in Warrington, like where I live now, where she's from. And you know, we met, we kept in touch over the past couple of months, but she, you know, she had heard a lot about me, that I had a bad reputation. I was in and out of jail. I was always fighting. So she didn't really want to do me, to be honest with you. And then we kind of started getting close, but then a case come up from a couple of years before with me. I had a stupid fight in a chippy, well, in a pizza shop it was, over frozen chips. Which is just stupid. Looking back now, it's stupid. And you know what? I'm not just saying it because there's been plenty of times where I've been at fault, but it wasn't even my fault. You know, my mate he's a vegetarian. They give him these chips are frozen that they give him. He wasn't happy, and we was all drunk. It ended up in a big fight with the owner, the drivers, and it just got daft. But when we all went to court, I was the only one who went to jail. So then anyway, like I said, 2006, 2004, I'd won the ABA. 2005, I couldn't because I was in jail. End of 2005, I met Gemma, got out, and then the police were on my case then for this fight in this pizza shop, and I knew I was going back to jail. So I ended up doing a run. I ended up getting a flight. Well, I was in court in Preston Court on the Jumper Dock, and then I was ducking and diving again, and then ended up getting on a flight and going to Crete. And I was working as a PR for a 12-week in Crete in Malia, and then come back, got nicked, was back in jail again for a few months, but then come out, started getting serious with Gemma, and I knew then that I'd met the girl in my dreams, my future wife, and I needed to start being good, and I didn't want to continue living the life that I was living. You know, friends were dying, friends were going to jail for a long time, and yeah, it was one of them, mate. It was keep doing what I was doing, going to jail, or end up dead, or turn my life around and go back to what I knew best, which was boxing. So that's what I did, mate, and I've been working hard ever since. And you know, my life's been getting better and better.
Talking about when you went back to boxing, did you know that you'd be fighting at that world-class level, like you got to
You know what? I didn't, and the reason being, I know what boxing's like, and I knew before that, you know, I've known many great fighters, top fighters where I'm from, who's gone into the professionals, not really done anything. You know, I kind of set my goals low when obviously everyone says, you know, they want to be world champion. Of course they do. It's the dream, but I just wanted, and I knew the politics of boxing. I just wanted to be realistic. And you know, while I was in jail in 2005, me very first trainer, John Chisnall, died. My amateur coach. And when I turned pro, I just wanted, you know, I wanted to win the British title and dedicate it to him. That's all I wanted to do. I knew I was world class, but it was getting me chance. It was whether I was going to get it. So I won I just wanted to win the British title. And also, I said to myself that I just want to fight anybody, anywhere. When I retired, I didn't want any regrets. You know, when I won the British title 2011, dedicated it to John. And since I've obviously got my world title opportunity after that against Sturm, and you know, proved that I was world class. And you know, I'd never mind the fact me being a kid, obviously boxing and fighting for world titles. Obviously that was a dream, but for me to even think that I'd be a year after me past what we just talked about, you know, I got out of jail in the last time I was in jail was 2006. If you'd have said to me then in 2006, you know, fast forward 10 years, 2016, you're married, you've got an house, you with your kids, and you'd never been back to jail again, I'd have took that. The fact that I've gone on and fought for world titles and you know, been a recognised, solid, world-class professional, you know, I'd have took that all day. So I'm, you know, I'm very, very grateful for the position that I'm in. Could it have been better? Yeah, but could it have been worse? Yeah, you know, I could have had more, but I don't need more. You know, I'm married. I've got 3 lovely kids, got a lovely house, lovely wife. I'm in a good place, and I'm happy. So I've got a lot to be grateful for.
Now, Martin, I know there's going to be a lot of questions potentially about Gennady Triple G Golovkin. Obviously, he's a superstar. But here's where I want to go a bit differently. Do you believe that you fought the prime Gennady Golovkin? Because I know that now, you know, he's obviously fighting Canelo, and he's really at the top. But he was knocking a lot of guys out, and he was on a tear.
Yeah.
Particularly when you joined. Do you believe that you fought the prime Golovkin?
I do, and I'm not just saying it. I think leading up to when I fought him, a couple of fights after, he was in his pomp, he was flying, and I just think just lately he slowed down. He's, you know, especially I think it was the first Canelo fight, I think, or was it the second one? I thought he won the first one. But I think it was the second Canelo fight. I scored it with our Archer. Me and my lad sat down, scored it, didn't have any commentating on. We scored it. I give it Canelo, we give it Canelo. Different scores, but I thought Canelo just picked it. But anyway, that was the fight where I looked at him and I thought he looks old. You know, when I fought him, we couldn't find a chink in his armour, and there wasn't one at that point. We knew what we had to do. We knew we had to, you know, all centre at ring, pushing back. You know, we didn't know, but I think he showed that just previously, especially in his last fight, he was getting hurt a lot to the body. But we knew we had to push him back, but it was just easier said than done. He was just formidable. He really was, and there was no chinks in his armour. Whereas now, I think he's aged a bit. He's still, don't get me wrong, he's still elite, he's still world class, and an unreal fighter, and the best I've ever fought. But I think just lately he's just slowing down a little bit.
Martin, you were talking about your preparations when you were referring to we, and we have to talk about Oliver Harrison, who was a friend of mine, and I know he was exceptionally close to you. In fact, you and I were corresponding when he passed away untimely, unfortunately. But I remember coming back on the bus after that loss, and you weren't on the bus. You and I connected later in the hotel, but Oliver was there, and I tried to speak to him and obviously say comforting words. But he looked like someone had just died. He really took it so hard. He loved you very much. His passing due to cancer was just so tragic. And I know you took that hard. But maybe if you want to tell the viewers just how close were you to Oliver and what kind of effect did he have in your life?
You know what, Colin, I can't obviously go into too much detail about it because it's still very raw. It was his year anniversary last month, April, and I'm still struggling with it, mate. I really am. He was like a dad to me. We was extremely close. I spent, you know what, I first met him in 2007 when I first turned pro, and you know, up until him getting ill the first time in 2017, it was 10 years we spent more or less every day together, training, going around the world. You know, he was such a lovely person, mate. And I think what hurts me most about it, obviously, I still can't believe he's gone. But what hurts me most about it is he just had so much to give, Cole, and he was just a lovely man, and he didn't deserve what he got, mate, and it's so fucking sad. It really is. But yeah, he was like a dad to me. I'm gonna have to stop talking, mate, because I'm just working myself up and getting upset at you. But yeah, we tried our best, mate, to conquer the world. We come close, and that's all he wanted, mate. He just wanted to have a world champion, because he, you know what, he lived boxing like yourself, Cole. That man just lived boxing. He won't bothered as long as he was in his gym working with his fighters, and it didn't matter the ability of fighters, Cole. It wasn't, you know, we used to have like world, you know, when Amir Khan was flying, Amir Khan won his first 16 fights to them, then left him and went and lost his next fight. But obviously, Jamie Moore, world-class European champion, that was myself on my way up, other fighters. But he'd train us, but then he'd go and train journeymen. His passion and the love for the game, and he was a proper teacher, colleague. You know, you see so many people now that the trainers. He was just a teacher. He was so knowledgeable, and you know, obviously, we're all hurting and missing him, and it's a big loss for us all. But it's just a big loss for boxing as well. He was just a legend of a bloke, and like I said, we're all still coming to terms with his loss, mate. Don't feel real, but you know what? On one hand, I've got to say that, but on the other, you know, I've even though I've lost him, I've got to be grateful for having him in my life. Do you know what I mean, mate? Feel really blessed, mate, to do. But it's still upsetting. Don't make it easier.
Yeah, I can imagine it was hard. But going back to the Golovkin fight, that was the time when Golovkin, I think, was on a streak when he was knocking everybody out in less than 8 rounds. I think he was knocking, and you went 11 rounds with him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the longest anybody had gone with him in a very long time. What was that like? Because he was known to be a murderous puncher. Like being in that fight, what did it feel like?
Well, you know what? Like he knocked everyone out. Up to that point, he'd stopped everyone. So we knew, you know, I'd been a fan of Golovkin long before he was on the scene. That most people knew about him. I used to watch his amateur fights. You know, I remember when he won his first world title in Germany, I think it was, and it was I think it was a regular title, and I think he won it in front of about 300 people, and in a tiny little sports hall type arena. I remember watching that, and I had a feeling that our paths had meet at one point. They'd cross, and obviously when I signed with Rodney Burnham, that was always going to be the last fight with him. It was Golovkin in Monte Carlo, so I knew what I was signing in for, but I wanted the fight as well. I've like I said earlier, I wanted to fight anyone, fight anywhere, and have no regrets. And I wanted to test myself against the best. I believe that's where gains are made. You've got to challenge yourself against the best. So I thought he was the best, and I wanted fighting. But going into the fight, he knocked everyone out. I thought he had that Mike Tyson-esque, thing to him where people were beat before they actually got in the ring. So, it was kind of a thing for me where I wasn't beat before I got in the ring, and I wanted to stand up to him. And, I mentally prepared myself for so much going into that fight. I come over to your ways in Johannesburg and trained over there for 6 weeks. So sacrificed a lot for me, for my family, because anyone who knows me know that my family's my life. So that was a big commitment and sacrifice for me, and it was the same for Oliver. But we went over there, we did it, we got in there, and we knew what we was going to be facing. Formidable puncher, unreal, his ring craft, his distance, his fitness. Like I said, there was no chinks in his armour, so I prepared myself for a lot when I fought him. But then when he hit me, the first time I felt his power, I thought, fucking hell, he can punch, but it's not too bad. I think I can deal with this, and that's what I thought in my head. What I thought, God, he can punch. I've got to be on my game here, but I can cope with this. I can. So obviously we started boxing. We were boxing him, and it was going all right. You could, in hindsight, I could say that I could feel him gradually getting stronger, and then he hit me with that body shot, which I just didn't see. I didn't see it, and that was one of the biggest things that surprised me about Golovkin was his variety. His variety was second to none. The way he opened me up, no one had ever done that for me before. Sturm, Martinez, all these elite fighters hadn't done it. He just opened me up, and he hurt me to the body, and I was recovering a lot from round 4 onwards, and I took a lot of damage. I took a lot of punishment within them rounds, and again, like I said, it was the variety of Golovkin, and starting at the beginning of the fight, I thought, he punches hard here, but I think I can deal with this. But it was the culmination of it. He didn't get any weaker with his shots. They were on the button every time. It was just solid, consistent, and obviously he ended up punching me and turning me into Marcus Medina at one point, because there's this picture, and I don't know how, but he's hitting me, and on it I just look like Marcus Medina's twin. But he was he was formidable. But it was, it was a pleasure to share the ring with him. It really was. It was an hard fight, but all you can do is try your best. I did that. I come up short against a better man and give it me all. It hurts me to say it, that the better man beat me, but there's no shame in it.
All right, Martin, obviously today is the first day, I'm speaking to you ever, but I've always known you're a good guy, and I'll tell you why. So there was a fight that you did in Monte Carlo, and I of course, I would not expect you to remember this at all, actually. But, Colin was there as well, and you were signing your shirt after you had beaten Domenico Spada. There was some blood on the shirts from the fights. You were signing it for a young undefeated amateur at the time. Okay, I'm just going to get my plug. That was me. But
right.
you signed my name on the shirt that you had worn that day after the fight, and I just wanted to do from my own point of view, get your recollection of that specific fight against Domenico Spada.
Yeah, it was a messy fight. We knew what Spada was like. We knew he cut a lot. To be honest, yeah, we not that we didn't want to fight him. We wanted to fight someone better. We put the net. Honestly, ask Rodney Burnham the amount of names he tried to contact for getting fighting with me over in Monte Carlo, and the names were just ridiculous. He was knocking it back. So we took the fight. We knew it wasn't going to be the hardest of fight. He was dirty with his head. He cut a lot. So yeah, we kind of knew that we only just had to go in there, get the job done, and we was on to the Golovkin fight then. But it was an easy fight. Outclassed him. It got stopped on I think in about round 8 with cuts. He was bleeding bad. And yeah, that was it. There was. I mean, from my point of view, there was nothing in the fight where I ever thought I was ever under threat. Yeah, I just thought it was a class above, and like I said, it was an easy enough win. But I would have preferred, no disrespect to him, but I would have preferred a better opponent, someone who was really going to get me ready for Golovkin. I'd have preferred someone more, kind of a Golovkin style, who was going to give me a tougher fight, getting me ready for it. But we couldn't get that opponent, and obviously Spada it was, and obviously we got the job done, and then it was on to Golovkin then.
Martin, you then had 3 very quick fights moving up to super middleweight, and you got another shot at a world title against Arthur Abraham. Again, wrong decision. You lost a split decision. A lot of people felt that you won that fight. What was going through your mind at that moment? Like, this is my last shot, or potentially my last shot. Why can I just never get a fucking fair shake?
Yeah, you know what? I think that I've got mixed feelings about that, Colin. I'll tell you why. I thought I won the fight. I did. I thought tactically we completely outclassed him. He didn't turn me one side and wobbled. I had him clinging on. From my point of view, maybe a tactic of holding was wrong. I got a point took off me. I shouldn't have held as much. That was a kind of a tactic that we followed through with. That didn't work, or we did too much, I should have said. But I still thought I won the fight, and it kind of hurt me. I felt really deflated after that one. That was the one where Golovkin was the hardest to take emotionally, because Golovkin's the only one where I'd after a fight I'd cried. I got back in the changing rooms and I was just distraught, because kind of when you Sturm, Martinez, the big fights I've had before, kind of, I was unlucky on the wrong end of a decision. I thought I was the better man. Golovkin for me was the first fight where I really felt like the second man, and that was really tough for me to take, especially with everything what I'd sacrificed with my family. But I think the one with Abraham, that hurt me most, emotionally, my heart really, because I felt from that fight, I felt like so much just popped inside me. I really thought, what the fuck can I do here to get a break in this game? I really did. And, like I said, the mixed feelings, mixed emotions from it is obviously that side of it. But then on the flip side of that, Col, there's a little bit of regret in me for that fight, because I think that was the only fight where I didn't leave it all in the ring. Even though I thought I'd won the fight, I didn't leave it in the ring, mate. And to be honest with you, you know, even if I'd have done it, who knows what would have happened, mate. But yeah, I didn't feel that I did in that fight. I thought I left it too close to call in Germany. Obviously, I've been there before, so I know what it was like. But I still thought I won the fight. But it kind of, yeah, it hurt me after that one, mate. And I really thought that, I've just got no luck in this game. But then, obviously, you keep going, mate. You keep working hard. And, you know, I obviously got the Groves fights after that and things like that. You know what I mean, mate? But yeah, obviously, I was gutted with that, mate. I really was. And, yeah, that obviously looked like my last world title fight. Which, I doubt I'll get another one now, but I'm not expecting one, to be honest with you. But who knows? But yeah, mate, it was just one of them. It was hard to take, mate, again. But, you know, like I always say, it is what it is, mate. What can you do? Just got to get your head down, mate. Get on with it. Dust yourself off. Carry on, mate.
Looking at your life, you went from a pretty wild lifestyle and sorted yourself out and then got into boxing and had a successful career. Boxing is filled with stories of young, talented fighters who go the other way from having a promising career to fall by the wayside due to ill discipline. What would you say to a youngster that's just coming in and is sort of maybe he's got like outside influences in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, you got to work hard without a shadow of a doubt. Listen to the people who love you. You know, I always say that if I'm at a boxing show and parents come up to me with, with the kids and what advice would you give him? It's always, listen to the people who love you. You know, I got too wrapped up in thinking what my mates would thought about me. Well, should I say, who I thought were my mates. Now I don't even I very rarely speak to any of them. You know, I lost a lot of mates. I found that out when I went jail. I've still got a lot of mates from back in the day, but it's always listen to the people who love you, who really want you to do well, and don't waste your talent. Just do not waste it. That really pisses me off. That wasting a talent. You know, it's it just really does me in that how people can just waste their talents. You know, I'm kind of thinking here things as I said it. I've just been trying to get into. I won't name him, but I've just been trying to get in touch with a professional boxer over there in England, he's just wasting his talent. He's playing for everybody to see. He's an amazing fighter who's throwing his career away, and yeah, I hate to see it, but it's just don't throw your career away. Work hard and listen to the people that love you.
What in a fight that's eluded you, and I suppose that you never duck a fight, but a fight that sort of has been running away from you and in your career was Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, 2 times, it never happened. You would have had to crack at the WBO middleweight title. What are your thoughts on it now?
Listen, it's one of them. I got done proper with that fight. I was kind of the fight come up to me. I was with Matchroom. I had a good spell at Matchroom, enjoyed my time there. I was offered the Billy Joe Saunders fight with Frank Warren, which I took. I'd only been with I'd never even met Frank up until that point. You know, we had a good reputation, obviously delivered the 3 fighters, and he offered me the fight. So I took it. I had to sign a contract with him, which he did. And then we all know what happened. He pulled out the fight twice. And then now he's with Matchroom, him now looking at the Canelo fight, I believe. So yeah, obviously, I was gutted it didn't happen. I was, I had 2 training camps for it. Felt that, Billy Joe Saunders is an amazing fighter, but I really do feel that I had the tool to beat him. He knew it was a risky fight. Obviously, he dodged it once, and obviously messaged me on Instagram saying we'll do it again properly second time. We had it booked in, and he didn't take it. We all know what happened, but like I said, I've got a lot of mixed emotions in it. But you know what, I don't blame him, if I'm honest with you. I've got no ill feelings towards him. The only thing what pissing me off a bit is I wish he'd have just said, "Listen, you're a dangerous fighter. I'm looking at mega money fights. I'm not going to fight you." I'd have took that. I understand the game. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that I got led on twice and it didn't happen, it was what it was. But like I said, I don't blame him. If I had mega money fights in my sight that wasn't too far away, I wouldn't want to fight somebody like me. So I understand why he did it. It was just a time away from my family that I'll never get back. But it's all forgotten at the time. It was a bit raw emotions because obviously I was gutted. But it is what it is, mate. He's obviously he's looking at the Canelo fight now, and obviously I wish him all the best. I've got no ill feelings towards him whatsoever.
Martin, you're turning 38 in September. You've kind of put a couple of wins together now. Where are you right now in your career, and what more do you want out of boxing?
Right. Well, I tell you, Colin, that year 2018 for me, that was the year where Billy Joe pulled out twice. That was just a shit year for me. It really was. I obviously had them 2 pullouts. I won the WBC silver title against Roberto Garcia from Mexico. He come over. I won that off him. Good, solid performance. It really was. But he did. He didn't. I knew going into the fight he didn't have the tools to test me. I just had to be on my game with the good boxing brain, which he did. Completely outclassed him. And yeah, I had them 2 pullouts, grafted my ass off all year 2018, and then at the end of 2018, I had the Endam fight, which it was I'll be honest with you, it was a bad performance by myself. I had an off night. I got too caught up into my own tactics, not my tactics of what we were doing in the gym. I religiously was watching his fight against the Japanese lad. Forget his name now. The world champ.
Murata.
Yeah, Murata. Yeah, and
Murata.
I religiously watched that fight of his, the second fight, the way he was just on him and he was chopping him down, and I thought Endam swallowed it. I really do, and I watched that fight too much and got caught up in doing them tactics, which I didn't do properly. But anyway, that was that. But I still thought I won the fight. I really do. I still thought I won it by a couple of rounds. I had an off night, but I still thought I won it. And, I've worked hard all my career, but I can understand me not getting a close fight in Germany, close fight in Argentina, but not to get a close fight in my hometown in Manchester. Do you know what I mean? It was at that point where I really thought I haven't got no fucking luck whatsoever in boxing. I've just not. And I was, like I said, I had a shitty year with them pullouts. It finished on a bad note for me, 2018, and after that fight, the day after I went, Gemma and the kids was on a cruise in Asia. So I had to fly out the day after, just been beat. Me and my dad flew over to Vietnam, met them on Christmas Day. So again, I sacrificed a lot of time away from my family. And like I said, as well as me not having any luck in boxing, it made me realise that, sometimes you just don't, there's an old saying where you only get out what you put in. Sometimes, it made me realise that that's not the case. I dedicated my life to this sport, training religiously. And for me to just get little things like that going against me, I just thought I need a bit of time away. So I did. I started 219, going into 219 last year. Like, you know, I wasn't know what I was going to do. So I started doing some PTing, and you know, I loved it. I really did, and it kind of got me. It made me get the love for it back, but it also made me realise. You know, what Oliver used to always say these things to us when he was, you know, when he was padding us and when he was training us, and it was like breathe and work. He used to always say breathe and work, and you know, it was just basically what he meant by that is you can still work and graft and still look busy, but you can get it back while you're doing it. And you know, it made me realise doing the PT in that. What all this time, what he was going on about at the time, I didn't understand it. But when I took a backward step, I really did. Just about knowing when to take them little breaks in the fight and just listening to your body, which I'd never done. And he used to always say that to me as well. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to start back training. Started back training again. You know, April 2019 is when we lost him. So, you know, that was a shit start to the year. It was tough, but then I started getting back at gym with Jamie, Nigel, all lads at VIP, and just getting back in there. And I just thought, you know what, I'll just take a fight by fight at a time, and that's what I did. But it was kind of, it's like last year was the first year from me turning professional when I turned in 2007, where you know, I didn't have any expectations. You know, I'd always kind of been in the gym hunting for this title, for that title, working my way up. And like I said, I didn't have any expectations. I kind of lost my obsession with winning a world title, and it made me feel free. It really did. I felt so relaxed, and I started enjoying training more. I did, and I'm loving training at the minute. You know, the thing is, I've got no expectations. You know, I mean, them two fights he had last year, they wasn't the best. And you know what? Again, no disrespect to them, but it's weird, Col. It's like I'm starting my career all over again, and I tell you why. It's like, again, I mean, you know, no disrespect to these guys, the guys who I fought, but it's like I'm fighting journeymen all over again who just want to survive, and it's they've not been the best fights, too easy to win, but moving forward now, mate, I know there's a big fight left in me. I had a big fight in America start of this year, but obviously all this has happened, so that scuppered that plans. I've just been made European mandatory at middleweight, so I'd like to win the European title before I retire, but just going to take anything, Cole. You know, if, don't get me wrong, I do want a couple more, but if they don't come along, if they come along, great. If they don't, great. You know what, I'm a good point in my life. I'm happy and grateful for, you know, for what I've got. And yeah, anything at the minute for me is a bonus. So we'll just wait and see what this last part of my career brings. I mean, I'm ready for retirement. I definitely am. But I know there's a big fight left in me, and you know, I want to go out in style. I really do. So let's see what comes up when the boxing starts again.
And don't forget about your second country, South Africa, specifically when I'm in the corner.
Well, yeah, obviously I'll never forget that, mate. Got a lot of love for South Africa. I had a fight there, 214, using my corner.
Yes, sir.
I've had a training camp over there. You know, like I said, I'm good friends with yourself, Rodney, Mike Whitstock, the full, you know, Harold and Michelle, the full Golden Gloves team, mate. You know, your fighters. How's Eki getting on? Is he all right?
Yeah, he's BC #1. He's going to be making his comeback soon. He's actually having a baby soon, so.
Is that? Oh, listen,
Yeah.
send me best wishes and regards over to me. But yeah, got a got a lot of love for the South African people, and yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you, pleasure seeing you, and thanks for having me on.
And that's Martin Murray, the Nelly man of the middleweight division, a good friend, and just wish him well, and inspiration for so many, particularly the youth, where you can turn your life around and obviously become an upstanding citizen. Thanks for joining us here on the Boxing Lockdown, powered by SA Boxing Talk, and we'll chat to you again soon.
Take care, lads.